One inspired action can influence the course of generations. Before his death, the owner of a successful business in Birmingham, Alabama, laid it all on the line for his beliefs. It was a bold experiment, an enterprise that continues today. We are American, and our story begins with the basic human need for clean, safe water. In the decades following the U.S. Civil War, a modern industrial economy was forming as millions of people flocked to the country's population centers hoping for a better life. Cities grew faster than their ability to provide safe drinking water, sanitary systems, and fire protection. This era brought life-changing advances, but it was also a time of labor turmoil and intense challenges to social, political, and business structures. While industrialists made fortunes, their factories were fraught with dangers, and there was little to no regard for an employee's safety and well-being. Laborers worked long hours in harsh conditions for meager wages. Child labor was common, and working conditions were poor. Against this backdrop was born John Joseph Eagan in 1870 in Griffin, Georgia. He was the only child of Mary and John Eagan. As a boy, Eagan excelled in school and was an eager student of life. At Central Presbyterian Church in Atlanta, he immersed himself in the teachings of Jesus Christ. While living with his uncle William Russell in Atlanta and later working for Russell's Tobacco Company, Eagan learned the ways of business and investing. He followed current events, developing a deep concern for the problems of labor and industry, racial injustice, the well-being of poor children, and many other social ills. Early in life, Eagan dedicated himself to service. He believed respect for all people and the Golden Rule held answers society desperately needed. In the 1890s, he received two inheritances, one from his grandmother and a large bequest from his uncle Russell, including the tobacco business and real estate holdings. At age 29, Eagan was a wealthy young man. Feeling a burden of responsibility, Eagan was looking for just the right business opportunity to be his ultimate expression of service. Believing tobacco was not his calling, he didn't stay in the business for long. In 1905, opportunity appeared. Charlotte Blair, in the iron pipe foundry industry since 1892, pitched the idea to organize a new foundry in Alabama. Pipe could deliver clean water and better health to millions of people. The Jones Valley area's natural resources, rail transportation, and plentiful labor made Birmingham the ideal location. Charlotte and her brother recruited a handful of investors, including John Eagan of Atlanta. American Cast Iron Pipe Company was incorporated on October 9, 1905, and Eagan was named president. The first load of pipe was shipped to the city of Atlanta on May 19, 1906. Eagan knew that without customers, there would be no business, and without employees, there would be no product. He looked beyond the pipe and saw its users, and beyond the machines and saw the workers. He guided the company during these formative years by the light of the Golden Rule. As the company grew, Eagan began to establish employee benefits decades before such practices would become commonplace. Between 1911 and 1924, he established benefits for all employees such as medical care, sick leave, life insurance, overtime pay, and a way to save for retirement. Employee facilities were also vastly improved. In 1919, Eagan married Susan Baum Young, whom he knew from Central Presbyterian in Atlanta. She was a like-minded woman who shared her husband's vision and capacity for service. By the time their second child came in 1921, Mr. Eagan was spending most of his weekdays in Birmingham, implementing his plan for a SIPCO. Mrs. Eagan eagerly awaited Fridays when her husband would step off the train in Atlanta to reunite with his family for the weekend. By the end of 1921, Eagan had purchased all of the ASIPCO common stock from his fellow stockholders to become sole owner of the company. He announced his intention for all employees to earn a living wage. At a company banquet in December, he elaborated on his vision for ASIPCO, and the key word was service. In 1922, he announced an employee profit-sharing plan and organized a system of employee representation. Eagan wanted employees to realize that the benefits they were enjoying were not gifts, but a share of what they had helped to earn. In his will, he directed all his company stock to be placed in a beneficial trust for employees with instructions for a SIP code to be operated to ensure service to both the purchasing public and to labor on the basis of the Golden Rule. In the fall of 1923, Eagan became very ill. By the last week in March 1924, he was near death. At her husband's direction, Susan Eagan penned a note expressing his final wishes, and Mr. Eagan signed his name at the bottom. He died on March 30th with family and friends at his side. He was 53. Under the laws of Georgia, Susan had the option to keep all or part of the SIPCO shares for herself and children. Instead, she went to court to secure the right to turn over ownership of the company to the trust Eagan had established for the employees. Over the next 100 years, the company would diversify to carry John Eagan's vision of service around the world. With manufacturing locations in North and South America, American provides ductile iron pipe, spiral welded steel pipe, valves, hydrants and fire pumps for water, wastewater and fire protection service, steel pipe for oil and natural gas, and ferrous castings for construction, agriculture, energy, and other industries. And the Golden Rule remains at the center of who we are, what we do, and how we do it. And with us always is the example of John J. Eagan, who showed us the potential of one selfless act of service.